Hello, my name is Artorimus, and as you may be able to tell from looking at my channel, I'm something of a Pokemon fan. I grew up with the series in the early 2000s, using Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal to help myself learn to read. I can specifically recall asking my mom what Metakaini was when Jasmine asked me to find some for her Ampharos. Today, I wanted to see what it would be like to dip my toes into the world of Pokemon ROMhack creation. I've used tools like the Universal Pokemon Randomizer before to create fun little randomized runs for myself, but I wanted to take this a step further and see what it would entail to create an updated ROM through SoulSilver. This is part 1 of a planned series for my channel going forward, detailing my process throughout the making of this ROM hack. Today, I'll be going over my goals for this project. Now, rather than just throwing random changes at the wall and seeing what sticks, let's try and come up with a few goals to guide my efforts. My overall goal is to create an updated version of the Gen 4 update of the original Game Boy Color games. I also think that Johto has something of an identity crisis, what with most of the gym leaders having Cantonian aces, and the fact that you can explore Kanto right after your adventure through Johto ends. How will I update Johto to keep this overall goal in mind? Well, let's take a bit more of a granular look. The first step I want to do is balance the decks. Johto is notorious for introducing some of the greatest designs in Pokemon history, and then giving them these stats. I would like to buff a lot of these so-called shitmons by increasing their stats, giving them better abilities and move pools, and in some cases, even updating their stats and typings to new evolutions or forms. Next, I want to take a look at some of the gym leaders and see how we can update them. Put yourself in the shoes of millions of kids in the early 2000s. You conquered your first generation, and then Game Freak plops down 2 new versions right into your lap. You make the tough choice of picking one starter out of a great selection of 3, although, Totodile is the correct choice, and then you set out on your journey. Full color sprites, a new quest to conquer, you walk right into Faulkner's gym wondering what new Pokemon he'll have, and then all of a sudden, boom, he sends out a Pidgey. Now, this is an area I feel every ROM hack of the Johto game sets out to fix right off the bat, rightfully so. In this hack, I will attempt to give every gym leader a bit of an updated team with a focus on giving them an ace appropriate to the region, while also adding a little bit of an extra challenge, which segues right into my next point. Increase difficulty, but just a little bit. Talk to any older Pokemon fan, and they'll tell you mostly that what they want is an increased challenge. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some difficult fights in the second generation of Pokemon. Heck, I recently tried to do a standard Nuzlocke run of SoulSilver, and it wasn't necessarily the easiest walk in the Pal Park, if you know what I mean. I'm not aiming to turn this into a difficulty hack, as a la Emerald Kaizo, but I will be trying to increase the difficulty a bit by adding Pokemon to gym leaders' teams, changing the strategy a bit, and adding some diversity to their teams. The last goal I have is something I call quality of life updates. This is more of a catch-all goal I have in mind for things that don't necessarily fall into the other 3 goals. Things like evening out the weird level curve that these games have, changing some encounters for added dex diversity for the player, making evolutionary items and methods more easily accessed, adding more useful held items for the player to find, and even cutting out the infamous Team Rocket sections, which have a lot of people going like this. Alright, so jumping right into things, this is the software I've been using to edit the SoulSilver ROM I've been doing work with. It's a program called DSPRE, or DS Pokemon ROM Editor. Makes certain changes super simple, but I'm having trouble editing things like moves and evolutions. So one of the first things I want to show you going into the Mon editor here is a little bit of my design philosophy, quote-unquote, to make the changes that I've been making. So for example, Butterfree here, I buffed its special attack by 20 points. In Generation 6 and on, it actually got a 10-point buff to its special attack. I also buffed its special defense and a little bit of speed as well. Reason being, I didn't really want to go out of control on this. You get Butterfree at level 10, so you don't really want something that's going to just steamroll the game. It's really more there to show you the mechanics of evolution and how Pokemon can sort of fall off because of their base stats. I made some edits to Butterfree's Learn set, and I'll just quickly showcase that. So for example, you get Confusion and Gust at level 10 now. I got rid of Poison Powder at level 12. It's just not very useful. I gave Butterfree a special stab move and Signal Beam at level 16, Confuse Ray, Air Slash for some hard-hitting special stab, level 22, followed by Psybeam, Bug Buzz, and then the biggest change actually comes in the form of Nasty Plot at level 30. The reason for this change, you can't get Quiver Dance in Generation 4 since it was added in Generation 5. And then I also gave it Energy Ball and Thunderbolt for some coverage. And then at level 40, you get Aeroblast. Hey, if you take Butterfree to level 40, you get rewarded. So yeah, some of the changes. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into how I'm going about and actually editing these Pokemon. So I'll go here into the personal data editor. It shows up on the other screen. I already showed Butterfree. I'll go into, I want Pidgeot. So my idea with Pidgeot, the first thing you'll notice, besides the base stats I'll get into a little bit earlier, or a little bit later, I wanted to change Pidgeot's abilities. They were originally Keen Eye and I think Tangled Feet, which are not very useful, frankly, beyond dodging like a sand attack. So I actually went ahead and went with Scrappy. It gives it a little bit of a unique flavor, allowing it to hit ghost types, and I think it pairs quite nicely with the updated base stats. I gave it a bunch more bulk, I think about 15 points in each defense, a little bit more speed as well, to match the modern speed they gave Pidgeot, lowered its attack a little bit, and buffed its special attack significantly. Idea being, I like the idea of Mega Pidgeot being a special attacker. Obviously, we don't have that in this game, so I went ahead and just changed Pidgeot a little bit in that way to make it a little bit less Mega Pidgeot, a little bit more tanky, while still being able to put out decent damage with that 110 special attack. Now, as far as the moves go, I'll pull up the Learn Set editor here, and I'll scroll down to Pidgey, so you can see, Gust at level 9, 13 quick attacks, pretty standard. I give it Uproar at 17, and then I didn't bother changing any of these because chances are most likely the player's going to evolve Pidgey into Pidgeotto at level 18, at which point you don't learn anything upon evolution, but I did say screw it, give it Dragon Breath, which is pretty cool. Usually it gets Twister, but Twister's kind of useless, so let's just give it something useful. I moved Air Slash up in the move slot. I think it's pretty later on that you get Air Slash, and then Agility, just because, a little bit of flavor, in case you want to go speedy with your Pidgeot, you get the ability to do that. These moves don't really matter, because again, you're going to evolve Pidgeotto at level 36, where then it has Air Slash again. I should probably change that to something. U-turn at 41, keep it interesting. Actually, tell you what, I'll go ahead and make this change live. I want to add Heat Wave at level 37. So what I'll do is just manually do that. But why is that? Oops. Let's edit this, turn it into Heat Wave. As you can see, still kind of bumbling my way around the tool. Then we click confirm. So now at level 37, you get Heat Wave for some coverage, U-turn for a little pivot action, and then again, Aeroblast because it's cool. I have a little bit of favoritism towards Pidgeot. So yeah, so that's Pidgeot. You gotta save it. Then I'll show you kind of what I did for the Phanpy line, another fan favorite of Gen 2, certainly one of my favorites. We've got no way of implementing Great Tusk or the other guy, Iron Tread, so I actually changed Donphan quite a bit. Lowered its special attack a lot, lowered its special defense a lot. Gave it a bunch of speed to kind of be an in-between point for Great Tusk and Iron Treads. Then obviously it gave it 135 attack, 135 defense with Intimidate. I also changed it to Ground Fighting because that's just sick, dude. That's just sick. So yeah, those are Donphat. Those are Donphan's new base stats. And then as far as the learn sets for both Phanpy and Donphan, I'll just show you here. So Phanpy, historically has had a pretty garbage moveset. So I gave it Magnitude at level 7, Roll Out at level 10. I kept that there because that's kind of their thing. Rolling Kick for a little fighting stab, and also he rolls around. You can kick his little elephant feet. Rock Slide at 19, and then Body Slam right before you evolve into Donphan. And then when you do evolve into Donphan, instead of Fury Attack upon evolution, that's horrible, you get Mega Horn. Crunch for some coverage, Earthquake at level 35 for the best stab, followed by Close Combat, and Head Smash, because why not? I don't think I changed anything for them. And then last but not least for this little showcase, I'll take you to Ladybug and Letty Ann. Whoops. So actually, let me start with Ladybug. Bug fighting, obviously, is the first thing. I think I gave it Iron Fist. I think Iron Fist is its hidden ability. And also, he's a little punching ladybug, so we love that. I actually kept the Spadef at 80. That's kind of stacked for first form. Then I buffed its attack quite a bit. Also, bug fighting, just because he's a punching little dude. Letty Ann, I increased the base stats significantly, as you saw earlier. 80 HP, 93 attack, buffed the defense a lot. Left the special attack as it is because I kind of want you to use him as a physical guy. 110 Spadef, is fantastic, and pretty unique for that bug fighting typing. Iron Fist as well. And then I'll take you into the learned sets. So Ladybug evolves at level 15, I believe. So I gave you Tackle at level 1. Level 6 you get Confuse Ray. I think it was Supersonic, but Supersonic sucks. Drain Punch at level 8 for some stab, and it hits pretty hard. A little bit of healing as well. Comet Punch pairs pretty nicely with Iron Fist, plus it's, some flavor. You get Light Screen, Reflect, and Bug Bite at level 14. I think Bug Bite here was Safeguard, but who's going to use Safeguard? And then Mach Punch at 17, so I guess you do evolve at 18. And then Letty Ann, you get the Elemental Punches upon Evolution, which is really fantastic coverage. Attack Order at level 29 because it's dope. And I don't know that I'm going to allow you to use Vespiquen in this game, so it was just laying around. Swords Dance and Agility are both cool. Allow you to boost up in whichever way you want. And then Sky Uppercut at 41 is really good physical stab that pairs with Iron Fist. Dizzy Punch is fun. I'm actually going to edit this, and I'm going to turn it into Baton Pass. So that way you boost up, you can pass out, but you're going to need to take your Letty Ann to level 45 to access that. So the last few edits I've made today that I want to go over involve the starter trio, Chikorita, Totodile, and Cyndaquil. Starting with Chikorita, I didn't actually change anything type-wise or base stat-wise for any of the three trio in their base forms. However, when you get to the second stage, Bayleaf is now Grass Dragon, keeps Overgrow. I think that is good flavor for all of the starters. And then I think the base stats I haven't touched at all. Bayleaf is just a pretty bulky leaf guy. I feel like Dragon fits because he's slightly draconic. He's a kind of a long neck dinosaur. Dinosaurs, of course, are related to dragons scientifically, as we all know. And then lastly, Meganium. Gave Meganium a debuff to their attack, buff to their special attack, and then a buff to the 2 defenses. Vanilla Meganium is just a plain grass type with somewhat bulky stats. This really accentuates that while also allowing it to spit some damage with the 95 base special attack. Cyndaquil now, very much the same stats, as well as just fire type. Then you hit level 14, you evolve into Quilava, and you get a ghost type. Just reminiscent of Hisui and Typhlosion. Again, can't program that guy into the game. So this is what we're left with. And then Typhlosion, one of my favorites. Unfortunately, his base stats are originally just a copy of Charizard, so I went ahead, lowered his attack, probably his defense a little bit, left the special defense, but give him 10 points of special attack, and buffed his speed to 105. Just a speedy ghost fire type. It's a pretty unique type combination, certainly in Generation 4. And then Totodile, my personal favorite. When I do a playthrough of this, probably a Nuzlocke of this hack, I will be picking Totodile just because I think he's really dope. Turn Croconaw into a fighting type. Water fighting is a really, really good type synergy together, especially offensive. Same base stats. And then for Alligator, buffed up his attack. His defense is actually naturally base 100, so I just left that. Probably lowered his special attack a little bit, maybe down from 79. And then I think I gave for Alligator a little bit more speed as well. Just water fighting is a good offensive type. And I kind of wanted to accentuate that with the stats here. So let me now go ahead and talk a little bit about the updated learn sets for the three, starting with Chikorita. Razor Leaf at level 6 is fantastic. Sleep Powder at level 9 is also great. I gave you Recover at level 12 as opposed to Synthesis, just kind of a weaker healing move. Obviously Synthesis makes more sense, but I think Recover is just a better move overall. Doesn't change effectiveness depending on the weather. And then you evolve at 16 with Bayleaf, at which point you get a Stab Dragon type move at level 17, just to make sure that you actually learn the move. And I don't know how it works with you evolving and learning moves at the same time. Magical Leaf at 22 is unchanged. Leaf Blade at 26 is great. Physical Stab, and then Giga Drain at 31, just a little bit of offensive and defensiveness. I may end up changing these because I just realized it's 3 grass type moves in a row, but whatever. And then Meganium, you evolve at level 32, you get Petal Dance, which I think is 90 base power in this game, gets updated to 120 to match Outrage in Gen 5 and above. But it doesn't really matter because you get Dragon Pulse at 34, the best special dragon type move with no drawbacks, followed by Light Screen at 40 to pair with the Reflect earlier on in your moveset. Draco Meteor as a level up move, usually it's a tutor move, but I'm not sure where the tutor is in this game. I'm sure it's in Blackthorn City, which by that point you'll have access to that anyway. And then I didn't really mess with Safeguard or Aromatherapy or Solar Beam just because it's pretty high level. Still have not worked out the grander level curve scheme I've got in my head, so stay tuned here. I'll update if I make any changes. Moving on to Cyndaquil, Smokescreen at level 6 is indeed kind of whack, but Smokescreen is good for Cyndaquil, just flavor. I'm actually going to change the level you learn Ember at to 6 as well, so now you get a full moveset by level 6. Quick Attack at 13 is fair, and then you evolve into Quilava at level 14. Level 15, I give you Ominous Wind, just a good mid-level ghost type attack. If you get an Omni boost, you're good to go. Lava Plume at 24, as opposed to, I think it was at like 35 or something, just for some good fire stab, because you don't get any. I believe I took away Flame Wheel, just because it's not a special attack, and it's pretty weak coming off of Quilava's base attack. Then I give you Hyper Voice for some special normal coverage, just to hit things neutrally, followed by Extrasensory at 35. I think it's an egg move, or a level 1 move that Typhlosion gets, so I give the player the opportunity to get it here. And then finally, Typhlosion, Shadow Ball, just really good stab right at level 37. Level 46, you get Flamethrower, Double Edge, and Eruption have been unchanged as well, just because I think by this point your moveset is basically complete with what you want Typhlosion to be doing. Last but not least, Totodile, Scratchleer. I changed Water Gun to Aqua Jet, just physical stab. It keeps the same base power, but you get priority as well. Then Mach Punch for some fun, because he's a little guy. I like to have the mental image of Totodile moving really quickly and then punching you in the face, followed by an early Ice Fang at 13, Bite at 15, and then you evolve at Croconaw at level 18. You can relearn Ice Fang at 20 if you don't want to evolve for some reason. But then you do evolve into Croconaw. At 18, you get Brick Break at level 19. Good, solid fighting type stab. Body Slam at 24 for coverage. Waterfall, I know it's an HM, but you will probably be further up than level 29 at that point, and without it, Croconaw won't really have much physical water stab. You learn Crunch before you evolve at level 30, and then you do evolve into Feraligatr. You don't learn anything except for Agility when you do evolve, and then at 37 you get Close Combat. 42 you get Rain Dance, just powers Feraligatr up and its teammates. You can go for a Rain team if you'd like. Thrash at 50 is just strong, followed by Aqua Tail, Superpower, and Hydro Pump at level 71. So yeah, that is the starters, and that is it for this first video. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. Going to be updating this series semi-regularly as I go along in this process, eventually culminating in a playthrough. So next time around, I will cover edits I've made to gym leaders, so stay tuned. Thank you.